Chapter 19. We probably could mortgage the house, Teddy said. Teddy and Ruby were in their bedroom with the door closed, speaking quietly. Maribel was on the computer at the kitchen table, searching for legal advice. The screen and saw what she was Googling. Maribel was smart and resilient, but it would be too much for her to have to take this on by herself. She wasn't a lawyer, and she wasn't going to be able to afford one. What were they going to do? Ruby tried to maintain a cool demeanor. She didn't want her husband to know how broken she was feeling. If they had to mortgage the house, Maribel and Lucien might end up without a place to live when they were gone. But they had to do something to help. There was no way they could lose their great-grandson or let their granddaughter fight this battle alone. There's got to be another way. We don't want to mortgage this land. It's our land. I want to pass it on to Maribel and Lucien. So do I. But if Lucien gets taken away, where will we be then? You're right. We have to do something before Maribel drives herself crazy. I know she's going to try and get help without letting us do anything, but that's impossible. None of us have the money for a lawyer, and Jeremy has money for the best lawyers. I'll head down to the bank tomorrow and see if maybe I can take out a loan. I don't want to refinance or anything like that, but if that's what we have to do, we'll do it. I hope it doesn't come down to selling this place. But we can't afford anything in the valley now. Prices have skyrocketed and there's a water shortage. There's no way we can get property. We can't lose Lucien, and we can't let Maribel go through this alone. So we'll do what we have to do. If we can't get a loan, then maybe we'll take out a second mortgage. I don't know, something. But we have to do what we have to do. She knew Teddy was right, but the thought of losing her beloved home of 50-plus years was devastating. Yes, we will do what's necessary. I might see if maybe I can get a little part-time job at Ben's Groceries. It won't pay a lot of money, but it might help offset the legal fees. We can probably get the legal paperwork filed. Maybe have a lawyer draw it up for us or complete it ourselves. I don't know, but I think it's going to come down to that. We have to do a lot on our own. We're going to have to learn the law. Ruby, I think we're too old for that. We need somebody who can advise us properly. Agreed. We definitely need someone who could tell us the best way out of this. I just don't know where to find that someone. There aren't many lawyers in Friendly. There is one, though, who is a spectacular lawyer. Ruby, I know exactly who you're talking about. Get that out of your head. He's not going to help us. He just wants to be left alone. Let's not even start thinking like that. Shouldn't we at least try? Nothing's worth turning to Max. Ruby had a mind to talk to Jeremy. She knew what his plan was, and it infuriated her. He wanted to break up Maribel and Blake because they were going to be happy together. She knew it would look bad if she went marching over to Jeremy's house and read him the riot act, but she considered it. This was the first time Maribel had had a chance at being happy since she got pregnant in high school. It wasn't fair for Jeremy to try to take that away from her. What do you think about me heading over and talking to Jeremy? Ruby asked Teddy. He shook his head. I don't think we should go near him at all. He's going to try and make things bad for Maribel and Lucien. If we interfere, he might do something worse. Will it be worse than him getting custody of Lucien? Well, think about this. We're all pretty sure he's Lucien's father. We all know that. But whenever Lucien has asked us, we've told him we don't know. What if Jeremy decides to tell Lucien we knew, but he didn't? What if he turns Lucien against us? If Lucien found out everyone knew who his father was and he'd been continually lied to for the past several years, it wouldn't go well for the Sykes. Lucien might end up wanting to go and live with his father because he felt betrayed. How did we get into this mess? I thought it was the right thing to not tell him who his father was because Jeremy wanted nothing to do with him. I didn't want to see him hurt, and I know Maribel was thinking the same thing. But how do we make this right? Teddy shook his head. I don't know, honey. I don't know if we can make it right. Maribel was typing out a note on a free legal advice website when the doorbell rang. She got up and looked out the window, saw that it was Blake, and considered how fast she was going to get him out of the house. Yes, she knew they had had an emotional conversation about being together, but she couldn't handle a relationship at this time. What she was going to do to make sure Jeremy did not take her son. She also needed to navigate how all this went down. Once the court date started rolling around, Lucian would find out. How was she going to explain all of this to him? Maribel wasn't sure, but she didn't have time to think about her own love life. Blake had been good to her, so she'd be gentle when telling him that there was no chance of a future for them at this time. "I've got great news," Blake said, excitedly moving toward the doorway Maribel was standing in front of. She knew it wasn't going to stop him from coming in, so she stepped aside and let him enter. "Okay, Blake, what's going on?" "I need you to type out everything that's happened with you and Jeremy. Everything from the very beginning, and send it to this email." He handed her a slip of paper with an email address on it. "Who is this, Blake?" "Maximilian Claiborne." "Max? What is Max gonna do?" "You know he doesn't really come out of his little hermitage anymore. He doesn't like people. We don't even see him. He orders everything online and has it delivered. They have to leave it at the mailbox and he comes out and gets it at night. That's how much he doesn't want to be bothered with people." "I just came from his place." Maribel's eyes widened. "Max is not the same person he was when you lived here before. He doesn't like visitors." "Well, I had a chance to speak to him." Maribel was shocked. She reached out and cautiously took the paper from Blake. "Okay, so what happened? What did you tell him?" "I told him the truth, that Jeremy is trying to ruin your life because we're finally going to try to be together." "Really? And Max cared about that?" "Max cares about right and wrong. He thinks this is wrong." Maribel stared at the email address. Was this real? Was Max actually going to help her? She didn't know much about him. He'd been living on his family's property in the mountains for years. He literally was never in town during daylight anymore. "I don't know, Blake. This sounds crazy. Why would he help me? I don't even have money to pay him. He's like one of the best lawyers in the valley." "I don't want you to worry about the money part of it. Whatever payment needs to be made, I've got it." "You're not going to pay my legal bills. That's up to me." "Maribel, keeping Lucian safe is all we care about right now. Like I told you, this is our battle." "I know I made you think that there was hope for us, but I'm not sure now. This is a serious thing. I have to fight it. I don't know that I can be with you, Blake." "I know. That's why I went to see Max. Just email him and we'll see how things go, okay?" It was her best shot at getting help, even though she felt a little strange that Blake had intervened. She was used to doing everything herself. It was kind of nice to have someone else helping her problem solve a major issue. "All right, I will email him tonight. But I'm not going to get my hopes up because he's a great lawyer and he has every right to charge full price for this type of service." "Sure he does. But I think he's more concerned with helping you right now. So just give him the details and see what happens."